Yo, what is up everyone? My name is Rednew. Thank you guys so much for checking out my channel. And we are going to take a look at the new Master Duel Forbidden and Limited List update. I did take a look at it a little bit, so I am a little spoiled, but let's take a look. Alright. Cards to be unlimited. Luster Pendulum, the Draco Slayer, from 2 to 3. Don't really have much to say about this, who cares? Next one here is number 75, Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. Bamboozling Gossip Shadow was banned earlier in Master Duel's life cycle because of the Rongo Miniad. Heroic Champion Rongo Miniad, this monster is absolutely atrocious. Essentially, what Rongo Miniad does is he locks you out of the game. He's not able to be handled by conventional answers like Kaiju or Lava Golem either, because if he has 4 material underneath him, your opponent cannot normal or special summon monsters. He cannot be destroyed by battle, he has a bunch of stats, he cannot be affected, and he cannot be Kaiju'd. So this guy essentially just stall locks the game, and Konami's solution to Rongo Miniad way back when was to ban number 75 Bamboozling Gossip Shadow, because Bamboozling Gossip Shadow has an effect where he can stick his materials underneath a different Exceed monster. Himself and all of his materials as well. So it was like viewed as an essential piece to the Rongo Miniad combo, and so he took the hit. And why did he take the hit? Well, it's because he is of rarity, the blue rarity over there, and since he's rare, when players disenchant him or dismantle him, whatever you want to call it, they're not going to get crafting points that are really good, right? You're not going to get UR crafting points, you're not going to get SR crafting points. So Bamboozling Gossip Shadow was the obvious target in the eyes of Konami until they went ahead and did ban Rongo Miniad anyway. They did end up banning Rongo Miniad because there were other ways, surprise surprise, to make him with the number of materials. So Bamboozling Gossip Shadow comes back to 3, which I guess is nice for Phantom Knight players, but even Phantom Knights, the only reason why Phantom Knights went into this monster, as far as I understood it, was to make this obscene card. So I don't know. Not really much else to say besides that story of, you know, like setting up where Konami's priorities lie, right? If they are able to ban a lower rarity card in order to cut off access to degenerate cards like Rongo Miniad, they would rather do that in order to not give the players too many SR/UR crafting points, obviously, so, you know, you have to buy more packs. But either way, yeah, 0 to 3, not surprising, and you know, at least he's not forgotten, I guess. Anyway, next one here, Ademancipator Analyzer. Analyzer is a little interesting, so let me we'll do a little cut here, take a look at the other Forbidden Limited List update. Okay, so I just checked and looked at it. Apparently Analyzer has been semi-limited ever since last year. For one whole year, Analyzer has been limited, or I'm sorry, semi-limited to 2, which is interesting because I don't really think he's that much better than the other ones. I mean, all the Ademancipators do roughly the same thing, pretty much. They just have different summoning conditions. Analyzer is such that he can summon himself if your opponent controls a special summon monster, or no, I'm sorry, just any monster. Okay, cool. Comes back to 3. This is definitely because of Block Dragon. Block Dragon got on the list just what? Yeah, on August 31st, so just last month. Just last month, Block Dragon got on the ban list. So Analyzer coming back to 3 is definitely something they, you know, if you're a diehard Ademancipator fan, cool. It doesn't compensate for the loss of Block Dragon though, not at all. Not saying that Block Dragon should be unbanned, that card's atrocious, so whatever. Cards to be limited. Whoa. Okay, wait, hold up. I saw this, but I didn't really... Yeah, so I've seen this ban list, but I haven't really gotten a chance to just sit down and really think about this. But yeah, Nimble Beaver coming down to 1. So if you guys don't know, Nimble Beaver is a very good normal summon for any sprite deck. Also, Nimble Beaver... Yeah, okay, so Nimble Beaver works very well with Nimble Angler. Nimble Angler says if this card is sent from deck to grave, you can special summon up to 2 level 3 or lower Nimble monsters. Those usually are the Nimble Beavers because they're not only level 2 monsters, they're also good normal summons for sprites. So, Nimble Beaver coming down to 1 sucks. It sucks a lot. It means that essentially you play 1 Angler and 1 Beaver, and if you send Angler to the grave, you're not going to be able to summon 2 Beavers. You would have to summon... I guess you would have to summon 2... Oh no, you can't summon Nimble Angler. Yeah, Nimble Angler cannot summon Angler. So what can Nimble summon? Do they have other level 2s? There are plenty of other Nimbles, and it looks like they're all level 2s. That said, none of them are as good of a normal summon as Nimble Beaver. This sucks because you're not going to be able to go to normal summon Beaver and suddenly be able to make Gigantic Sprite or Sprint or Elf. So this hit is much more of a consistency hit than it is a ceiling hit. Because the solution to playing Beaver getting limited is simply playing a different Nimble monster, but these other Nimble monsters just aren't nearly as impactful or as strong as Beaver, who can just special summon another copy of himself or any other Nimble monster for that matter. So, sucks for sprites. And it kind of sucks too because you're gonna see this theme in this ban list, but I feel like it's very just out of touch and very late. Because right now in the meta right now is dominated by Purely and Kashtira variants, and there are not that many sprite players. There's just not that many. So if Konami is like targeting play rate, it feels like they're targeting play rate, but for like a month behind, for like a season behind. For the month of August, sure, there were a lot of sprite players, but for the month of September this season, there weren't that many. I don't know. I mean, let me know in the comments below if you saw a lot of sprite players, but I did not see that many on my climb. I got to Master 1 with Pureleys. Everything, this ban list just feels like a month late. I mean, like, sure, you're freeing up Analyzer, Bamboozling, whatever, who cares? But I'm talking about the cards that are like going to be limited in some way or form. Nimble Beaver feels like it's a month late. Alright, next card. Tierliament's Havness. Tierliament's Havness 2-1. Dude, this is insane. That is absolutely insane. Tierliaments are just dead. They are absolutely dead from 2-1. So Havness, if you don't know, is the Tierliament hand trap. When your opponent activates a monster effect, Havness can chain, special summon itself, and then mill 3. Milling 3, first of all, sucks in Tierliaments right now because you don't have that many millers, right? I think the only millers you have are Keldo and Calbeck, and you'll see soon that's gonna change a little bit too. It's just one copy of Keldo and Calbeck, right? And Havness coming down to 1 means you're missing another mill target. Havness is a mill target because if you mill Havness, she can fusion summon. Now, basically Havness, if you summon Havness from hand as a hand trap, the only target you have is Reinoheart and Shiren. And Reinoheart and Shiren are your targets. Reinoheart isn't really, he's not a Tierliament girl. He's not a fusion spell. Reinoheart is not a fusion spell. Shiren is. In order to get Reinoheart to special summon himself and then send Shiren or Havness to the grave and do a fusion summon, then you must have a Tierliament card in your hand. That's a huge restriction. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it is actually a huge restriction. So Havness coming down to 1 reduces your potential mill targets to go into any of your fusion plays. It means the hand trap will not be able to mill another copy of itself. The hand trap only has 4 targets, millers included, sure, but those millers, there's not that many of them. And Merle's gone. It's like, this is just an extra kick in the shin for Tierliament. It doesn't absolutely destroy it. It doesn't put it into the ground, but it feels so unnecessary. It's just a huge consistency hit. There's not. It sucks. Now Tierliament, when you play against Tierliament, it's very much a sort of knowledge check, right? You have to know how Tierliaments work in order to assess like their potential and tailor your players around that. And what now, if Havness is used as a fusion spell, it's very likely they don't have Havness in their hand as a pseudo hand trap, right? And now if you see Havness come on the board from a hand trap, now you know that there's just not a lot of ways for them to fuse off of it. So yeah, it just feels, this feels again like a month behind. In the month of August, sure, you had more Tierliament players. Yeah, in the month of August, you had way more Tierliament players because Tierliaments were playable, right? Before Merle was banned on the 31st of August, Tierliaments were super playable and they were very, very good. This just feels cruel. This just feels like Tierliaments is now the Fluanda Reese joke. Like every BANLIST is gonna hit Tierliaments even though nobody's playing it. Even though nobody's playing it, even though nobody's like having fun with it, Konami is going to continue to hit Tierliaments. I don't know why. I don't even know if there's any goodwill to garner with this hit because Tierliaments is just not on anyone's radar. I don't think anyone is hating on Tierliaments anymore, which is just, it sucks. It sucks for Tierliaments. What sucks even more, I feel, is that you don't really see, like if an archetype gets hit, you don't really see them get unhit the month right after. So we're probably going to be stuck with this until at least the month of November. I think November, season of November, season 23, I don't even know. The season of November is probably when we'll see Tierliaments kind of come back. But this is a huge hit. Merle is banned. It doesn't even matter at this point that you get Tierliaments Kashtira later. So Tierliament Kashtira, I figured Tierliaments Kashtira could save Tierliaments if Tierliaments Kashtira was a fusion spell. Similar to like Havness. If you mill Havness, then Havness activates in the graveyard. You can do a fusion summon for any monster. There's no restriction actually. Kashtira, Tierliaments Kashtira, who is yet to come out in Master Duel, is only a miller. And she mills like an extra 2 cards? That's not very good. I don't see, like, Tierliaments Kashtira definitely cannot save Tierliaments. It definitely doesn't warrant this ban. That's what I thought. Maybe Havness getting limited is to pave the way and make Tierliaments sort of balanced by the time Kashtira comes out. But Tierliaments already is pretty inconsistent. It's like a Saki deck. It's definitely not the meta monster that it was before. And yeah, seeing it come down to 1, wow. Talk about eviscerating a deck. Talk about, I don't know. I feel like these hits are for play rates that are a month behind. I've not seen a single Tierliament player in my climb with purely to master. I have not. So, well, I mean, I'm not seeing a good one. I maybe seen a couple of Tierliament players, but I probably couldn't learn that they were Tierliament players because they never got to do their Tierliament fusion because it's so inconsistent already. So that sucks for them. This is a huge hit. Cards to be forbidden, Calbeck. Holy crap, Calbeck. Calbeck is gonna come down from 1 to 0. That is so huge. That is so... This is putting Tierliament to the dirt. This is putting Tierliament in the dirt. So if you don't know, Calbeck is a miller. If Tierliament mill Calbeck, then Calbeck will mill an additional 5 cards from both players' deck to the graveyard, which is great for Tierliament because it gives them that extra shot, that extra chance to mill another Tierliament creature, Havness or Shiren, which are the only targets for the fusions now. Now, Calbeck is banned. Calbeck is banned, and I think Aido is still alive, right? Let's just take a look. Aido. Oh wow. Oh, Aido's banned. Wait, I thought Aido was limited. Wait, so Tierliament has no miller. Tierliament have no Ishizu millers whatsoever. So not only did you remove a mill target, you milled one of the only cards, that helps them be consistent, that helps them find those mill targets. And that's insane. Calbeck finally being banned. Calbeck is banned because he's a miller. It's not even because he's a hand trap. The Calbeck does have a hand trap effect, or a hand trap like effect, that if your opponent mills a card, then he can chain and special summon himself and bounce a monster back to your opponent's hand. And honestly, I feel like Calbeck, the only reason why Calbeck got the boot here is because he's a miller. Again, this just feels like a month behind. I didn't see any Tierliaments. I saw seldom few Tierliaments on my climb to Master 1, and definitely never going to be seeing them again. That just puts them in the dirt. There's no coming back from this. Alright, yeah, wow. Sucks to suck. Alright, next one. Alright, this is a good one. Diablosis the Mind Hacker 3-0. This is good. But this is also an indicator. This hit is good, but it's also an indicator. It's an indicator that we are going to be getting a Rise Heart finally in the next booster box. And Diablosis, if you don't know, Diablosis and Arise Heart is incredibly toxic together because Diablosis has a trigger effect. When your opponent is banishing a card face down, then Diablosis will trigger and allow the player who controls Diablosis to use his effect to have your opponent banish more cards face down from the top of their deck equal to the amount that are currently banished face down in their banish zone. So that destroys typically like half of their deck. It's super uninteractive. It is like a death sentence, generally speaking. Diablosis activating with a Rise Heart is almost a death sentence. So Rise Heart, if you don't know, he is a Macrocosmos on legs. Any card that would be sent to the graveyard is banished instead. And as well, he is able to, once per chain, attach banished cards to himself as material, and once per turn quick effect, he can detach 3 materials, target a card on field, banish it face down. So he has spot removal, he's a floodgate on a body, he's everything, right, for Kashtira. Kashtira with Diablosis would be insane. Now, if it's just a Rise Heart, I mean, let's be honest, it's still kind of insane. But at least it's not, like, totally degenerate with Diablosis. But yeah, that's going to be it for the ban list. Again, it feels like it's a month behind. Like, these cards coming to Unlimited, okay, fine. These are archetypes that are underplayed and, you know, they're just not good anymore. Cards to be limited. You have Sprites and Tierliaments being hit. Sprites and Tierliaments, I didn't see any, if at all, in the month of September. So it's sad to see them get hit further. And if you didn't see them in September, you're definitely not going to see them in October. But yeah, let's see what the comments say. My homie Sprite Elf dodging every ban list. Yeah, you don't see Elf in this ban list. No Elf here, which is kind of nuts. I don't think Elf is in Konami's radar. I really don't. No flu hit, birds rise up. This is literally the only ban list that doesn't hit Fluandereese in some way, shape, or form. Last ban list, we got a Pot of Prosperity hit, which, yes, other decks use, but also Fluandereese uses, and that's a hit to their consistency. And yeah, this ban list didn't have a flu hit, so cool for flu. Maybe this means though that we'll start to see Fluandereese get unhit in the following month. Diablosis ban, let's go. Great. Yeah, a Rise Heart is coming. Yep. Tier 1, Cash was never tier 0. Very strong, yes, but not tier 0. Yeah, okay, like, I don't... Oh, okay, so as a casual player, instead of seeing just Kashtira, you're gonna see Kashtira and Purely? Great. It's like, no matter what, they both kind of lock you out of the game. Yu-Gi-Oh! Strong deck archetypes lock you out from playing the game. And just seeing another deck in there, who cares? I don't understand that mindset. Like, there's always going to be a tier 1, there's always going to be the strongest deck, and chances are it's not the deck that you like. So, I don't really, like, okay, it's not tier 0. Just seems like it's, nitpicky. It seems like it's just like, oh, well, actually, it's not tier 0. It's actually just tier 1. It's just like, who cares? At the end of the day, your deck is gonna get bodied. What was tier doing, Lamau? I guess if you're tier cash or something. Yeah, no. Tierliament Kashtira. Everyone says, oh, Tierliament Kashtira is gonna fix Tierliament. It's not gonna fix Tierliaments. They lost a fusion spell in Merly, and now Havness is limited. So Chaos Roller alone can still put up an unbreakable board. Yeah, sure. Tier Punk is still pretty impressive, basically quite unbeatable if you have a decent starting hand. Some people also play Purely Tier, which is bricky, but again, it's really good with the right hand, and since most Purely cards are one card combo, you can turn one play often enough even if your hand is bad. This sounds like so much copium. This is so copium. Like, Tier Punk is still pretty oppressive if you have a decent starting hand. Yeah, any deck is good if you have a decent starting hand. Any deck is good if you can pick your hand. It's like, that's not a mystery. Like, if you could tailor your hand for any deck, then of course it's good. But that's not how Yu-Gi-Oh works. That's not how card games work. You're not always gonna have the best starting hand, and it's also dependent on your opponent's hand. Max C exists, Ash Blossom exists. You're not gonna get the best play even if you have the best hand. So Tier Punk is oppressive. I don't see how Tier Punk is oppressive when you only see like maybe 5-10% of the decks you fight are Tier Punk, and it's not even close. It's not even close to how it used to be. And then like Purely Tier, he says it's kind of bricky, but again, it's really good. That's literally, it's an oxymoron. This is an oxymoron. A deck that is bricky is not good. A deck that is inconsistent is not good. A deck is good if it is consistent. A deck is strong if it is consistent. This is an oxymoron. This is copium. This just, it's like, oh, but this is justified. No, it's not justified. It's dumb, and this comment is silly. Ain't no way you think Tier Punk is unbeatable. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the upcoming ban list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh content, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.